Welcome back, foolish mortals, to another episode of Another Disney Podcast. On this week's episode, we will be sharing 7, that's right, lucky number 7, great tips of ways that you can save money at Disney World, because guess what? Everything costs more. It's called inflation. Let's go!
This is another Disney Podcast production.
Dave, what is going on? Dave, I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm super excited.
Are you trying to save some money, or what are you excited about?
Well, I'm always trying to save money. Like, money's a great thing to save, but I'm super excited because by the time that people listen to this,
okay,
we are physically going to be in the same place.
Oh, you're right.
In the same room, looking each other in the eye.
Yes. Romantically.
I mean, if you want to do romantically, I mean,
that's right.
That's fine. It's been a while.
Yes. This is my, we're still keeping it close to the vest because people don't need to know what we're doing. All that you need to know is that if you've listened to this show for a while, you know that Brandon lives 4.5 seconds from Magic Kingdom. No one here is jealous. No one. But, and so I obviously go to Disney World a lot. And of course, Brandon's a big part of why I go there, but also I like Disney just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But we are having a boys' weekend.
Heck yeah, we are.
Yeah, we're not getting any younger, and our lives are changing ever so quickly.
Tremendously.
And so we're going to go hang out at the beach. So we're going to get together and not do Disney. We're just going to have a good old boys' weekend at the beach. So that's all they need to know. It's February and a beach sounds great.
Yeah, that's how. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be kind of warm this weekend.
Kind of ish, yes.
Kind of.
I think Thursday it's going to be great. Thursday's going to
be the best day. Yeah. So we better break out the banana hammocks and hit the beach.
I had just vomited in my mouth. So this is great. Hey, people came to this episode to hear about Disney. They don't really care about us. And so, yes, we thought we'd talk about some ways you can save money. In case you haven't noticed, there's been like a 7% plus. Is that about right? Is that what the inflation has gone up about 7-ish percent?
7-ish, something like that. It seems like Disney inflation has gone like 200%.
Yeah, that's probably right. It's probably a closer number.
It's pretty crazy.
Now, some of these things, I got to be honest, Brandon, they're a little painful to say, hey, you want to save money? Don't do this. Now, everything is not a don't do. Like, we're not going to make this a, hey, you can go to Disney, but you have to live in a cardboard box next to your rental car. It's not like that hardcore. But there are a couple things that you might want to skip out on, which are hard for, I know, us regulars to skip out on. But we're gonna do
now.
it. Yeah.
Especially now. I mean, there's some of them that when we were putting this list together, there's some of them that I was like, oh yeah, like you could skip that, I could skip that, and not even feel bad about it. But there's some of them that I'm like, ugh. Like if this was my one trip to Disney, like it'd be hard to skip this.
Yes.
So
that I'm so glad that you said that, because we really need to start off this show with that. If you go once every couple of years, once every 5 years, once a decade, I would ignore this list completely, because hopefully you've been managing your finances, you know what to expect, and you're doing a big kind of fireworks type trip. I don't mean like physically you're going, but you know what I mean? Like this is a no holds barred event that you're going to. This list is not for you. This is for the people like Dave, who, like, I don't know, a decade ago was like, I love Disney. How can I go more often? Like, that's kind of where I can. And so, or even if you're like, look, I mean, money doesn't grow on trees. When that happens, I'll plant one, but it just doesn't. And so even if you're just like once every year, like every penny helps. I mean, like for some people, it's like, hey, it used to be the 2 of us. Now it's the 3 of us. Oh, dear God, now it's the 4 of us. So your family may have grown. And so when you add people, it doesn't get cheaper to go to Disney. I don't know if you knew that. No. So
there's no buy one, get one free offers.
No,
kids eat
free. Kids eat free every day after 4 at IHOP. I mean, so I've heard.
There's plenty of those around Disney.
Yes. All right, so let's jump in.
Let's jump in.
I will kick us off. This one I don't know a lot about. but it's worth talking about because I haven't experienced it yet. If you've listened or watched any of our planning for the Magic, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And that is, we're going to play on words here. You should pass on Genie Plus. So all of us took a collective like heartbreak moment, if you will, when the Fast Pass went away and then it was reintroduced with basically a really fancy name that said, hey, this is the paid version of Fast Pass, but we've made some other changes. Yeah. That's basically what it is. And so there's a couple of ways. So this is one. I don't know, Brandon, how do you feel about this? I wouldn't look at this one as a negative quite yet. It's still, I like, this is not like a, hey, this is something that we always used to do and now don't do it. Well, I don't know that we can look at it this way because A, it's still so new. And B, for a lot of you, if you only go that once a year, I say it's worth it at 2 parks, not at every park.
Correct.
So that's another way you can like save a couple of pennies if you're strategic about your parks. But what do you feel? I mean, I know it's hard for you because you live there. You're like, well, I live here. If I'm going to go for 3 hours and I have to stand in line for 90 minutes for the ride I want to ride, who cares? It's just 90 minutes. I was going for 3 hours anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to take off the locals hat here, and I'm going to think about it logically.
Good idea.
Like when I used to vacation here. So this one is like on both sides of the seesaw for me because yes, it's a great, easy way to spend money. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot of money. It's $15 a person. So you're like, if there's 2 or 3 of us, that's $15 each. It'll make our day way better. It'll be, it'll help us plan our day. But if you do that and you're here for a week and it's 2 or 3 of you at $15 a day for 6 or 7 days, now you're talking about $200, $300 additional on top of what you've already paid, the exorbitant amount to get into the park. Right. So if you're looking to save money, this is a great way to do it. You can still do Disney without Genie Plus. It's like old school Disney. You just go stand in line for things. The lines may be a little longer, but you can still do it that way. Now, I will put a caveat on this. Disney has been super crowded. It has been unbelievably crowded since the beginning of the year. There is no slow time at Disney. There is no time where you're just going to walk onto rides. It's just not going to happen anymore. So Disney Genie Plus is fantastic. If you're only going to be here and you're only, and this will lead into our next point. If you're only going to be in one park per day, it's a great thing to do, but you don't have to have it. You can still enjoy your day at the park. You can still plan your day. There is a free version of Disney Genie.
Yeah, for sure.
So you can put in all the things that you want to do and it will tell you when you should hit certain rides, when you should go to certain restaurants. That is still available without having to pay for it. So should you do it? Yes. Is it an easy way to save money? Yes. Yeah. It's kind of my feelings on it.
And here's another, if there's some rides that you want, well, let's talk about some strategies, right? So first of all, like there's always a strategy of how you could do it. We're actually going to talk about the crowd thing a little bit later. That's another point that we have for one of our ways to save money, believe it or not. Now, so there's 2 big strategies you can take advantage of. One, if you're staying on property, early entry. It's like, I know right now it's only 30 minutes. Who knows if that'll change in the future, but as of early 2022, it is just 30 minutes. However, you pick your park here. You get in at dark 30 at like staying on property rope drop. I use that in air quotes. You can get, I mean, I would say most people stroll around to the parks between 9 and 11. I would say that's it's really lunchtime before the park gets like insane. Right now, but looking at like the crowds in January, February 2022. That is a great way to ride. You could probably knock, like if you guys are attractioners and you guys are go-getters and you're an up early family, I would say you could easily get 4 to 5 attractions by 10 o'clock. If you're, let's say the park opens at 8 and you're 7:30 for staying on property. So that's one way. And even if you're not, there is still it doesn't look the same anymore, but there still is a legit rope drop, meaning that 30 minutes after the park opens, you'll be able to go in. And I'm telling you, even though people are excited about Disney, you've got your crowd of young families that little kiddos get up pretty early. So they might as well just go to the park.
Yeah.
But I would say, gosh, Brent, our family, we have always treated Disney like a vacation. And so we're lucky to get to Magic Kingdom by 10.
Yeah. We used to be complete opposite. You know, sun comes up, we're up. Let's get on the bus at dark 30, get in the park. But we've grown a little older and wiser, as have our families. So yeah, I mean, and again, this is with the caveat that we experience it all the time. We don't feel the need to rush to the park. But yeah, I mean, that's an easy way. Use the free Genie service, get in the early entry, do the rope drop. You're going to beat a majority of the people there. Because even all the people that are staying on property, they're not rope dropping and they're not going to early entry. Because I tell you, a big deterrent is that 30 minutes. Because people say in their heads, it's only 30 minutes. Like, why am I going to rush to get there? I can do one thing before they open the park to the real crowd. So a lot of people are dissuaded by that 30 minutes. So take advantage of the 30 minutes. Like I said, I think I said this last show, but our friends were staying on property. They did the early entry. They got to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and they waited for 9 minutes to get on the ride. Exactly. So that's a way to save money, because otherwise you're paying $12, $13 to ride that as an individual lightning lane attraction. So that cuts out $13 a piece just by getting up an hour earlier. Yeah.
I mean, it's a big deal. That's the perfect example, I think, because when you're thinking about Magic Kingdom, especially, that has the most attractions, that just, as crowded as that park gets, there's enough to do that it disperses crowds well. Yes. But come 11, 12, 1 o'clock, if you do any kind of Disney social media, you're seeing everything seems to be a minimum of a 60-minute wait, and most things are 100+ minute waits. And so you'd be surprised, like I said, for a good example, like Brandon's friends that just came, less than 15 minutes and they're on the most popular ride that has the longest wait every time you go to Magic Kingdom. Whereas even if you weren't staying on property and you got there at the traditional rope drop time, when you get there, you're probably looking at a 45-minute wait. Probably the shortest wait of the day, but still you think you're getting there at park open. But the problem is all of the people staying on property have been in line for 30 minutes.
Yes.
So that's one of the but I still say both of those are going to be great strategies to hit, especially that ride, or pick your marquee ride at said park, right? So whether it be Rise, you can do that with Rise. No, you can now. So Rise of the Resistance or Mickey's Runaway Railway, and then you've got
Remy's,
and then you've got Pandora. Maybe your kids aren't Remy's, but they're Frozen. All of those, you've got those one or two rides at every park that as long as you're there early-ish, even with the wait, it'll probably be the shortest wait time of that day. So yes, you save some money and still battle it, but you got to be an early riser. So I know, and I get it. This could be your vacation.
Or I'm going to throw, I just thought of this, but I'm going to throw a little caveat onto the back of this. Another way to save money and not get that Genie Plus. Instead of being the early riser, pick the attraction you want to do, the marquee attraction. And this is a secret between us and you. Don't tell anyone. Pick that marquee attraction, get in line 2 minutes before the park closes.
Yes.
You will have, again, probably you're still going to wait. It's very unlikely you're going to walk on one of those top tier e-ticket attractions if you go right at park close, but you're going to have one of the shortest waits. We do this all the time with Flight of Passage. If we're in Animal Kingdom, like we've talked about on the show before, we hang around, the queue 5 minutes before closes, jump behind us, we wait for a half hour. So if you are not an early riser, stay late and then pick that attraction that you want to get on and jump in line before it closes. And so that's another way to avoid the Genie.
It may be obvious to some, but some people will be like, well, why is that? Well, because there's no Genie Plus, there's no Genie Plus or no Lightning Lane. I don't even know if that ride has both or not. Anyway, but there's nobody else that gets in front of you after that point. Once the park closes, nobody else can get in line. So whatever the length of that line is, it's not going to get any longer. Where any other part of the day, people are constantly coming in the, I'm just going to cheat and use the old school. People are constantly coming in the fast pass lane. Like that's just where, when the park closes, the only line that's open is none. And so if you're already in it, nobody gets in front of you. Okay, so I think we hammered out a great strategy.
I think we hammered out that one. That was actually, we're a little more passionate about that one than I thought.
I'm so fired up.
I mean, and the thing is, like, neither one of us have really utilized the Genie Plus,
Nope.
so I think we're kind of biased on don't buy it because we've gotten by without having to do it. So for those of you who have used it, send us a message. Tell us what you think the benefits are of it. So next time we're convinced to buy it.
Love it. All right, Brandon, number 2.
All right. This one's kind of painful. And it's only painful because we utilize it so much. But an easy way to save money when on your Walt Disney World vacation, skip the park hopper. Right? Now, this is a super hard one. We love park hopping. But, I mean, you could easily save over $250 by skipping this. Probably way more if you're buying it for your family of 4. Because it's an exorbitant amount of money to add to your regular base ticket. And it's kind of not the same since they instituted the 2 p.m. hopping rule.
Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit about on the show about how you can do full days in each park and you don't really need the park hopper pass, but it's a super easy way to save a bucket load of money. It's just don't get the park hopper.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's true. Like, I mean, I wrestle with the value portion. That's what's frustrating to me. Obviously, Disney's not going to make it any cheaper, but it's really only valuable like if you're in the area and you're planning on doing multiple fun things in the Orlando area and Disney's just a portion of it. I think that's where it becomes worth it because you can hit a couple of parks. Let's say you're going for 2 days, you can be sure to experience all 4 parks in those 2 days. Like that's where I see it as an advantage. But if you're coming for your Disney World vacation, what they're charging to have that as an add-on to your base ticket price is not worth it, because if you wanted to go to Magic Kingdom and get there at rope drop and ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and go to Epcot, you can't. Like it's just right as of right now, you can't. And so that's where it's kind of a bummer. I mean, I know 2 p.m. is still early in the day, especially if you're thinking of jumping to Epcot, which typically closes, depending on the time of the year, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. I do understand that, but the challenge is, at the X amount of dollars added onto your base price per ticket per person, and you only get 2 p.m. That's why I think it's just pick your park for the day and go wear out that park. Or, if it's a park that we have kind of mentioned before that we say, hey, this is not really a full day park, that's also a great day to take a break midday, go back to the hotel, go enjoy a long meal on property or off property. So I think you've got some options to even fill up those days if you're only doing something like an Animal Kingdom for the day. So it's just it's again, like Brandon said at the beginning, this was a painful one for us, but like it's easy for us now because being annual pass holders, it is included. But when I go and I have to pay right now, 2 p.m. and later feels like, I'm just going to say, it feels like I'm getting ripped off at what they're charging for. And so once it goes back to like you can park hop after 15 minutes of a park being open, then I think the value goes back up. I still think it's overpriced. But so there's ways to still enjoy that one park per day. And then I think it's a value if you have limited days in the park. So does that sound right? Was that an
that sounds right. Response? And I mean, we're at that weird time of year where like parks are closing at 7, 8 o'clock. And so, I mean, when you think about it, you hear, 2 p.m. to 8 o'clock, that's 6 hours. That should be plenty of time to do whatever I'm going to do in the park. But I mean, a majority of the people want that park hopper so that they can say, all right, so we spent 5 hours at Magic Kingdom, knocked out everything we want to do. I just want to go to Hollywood Studios and ride Tower of Terror. Right. So like you were talking about, like it's an exorbitant amount of money to go ride one additional attraction. Now, if you could do that at any point during the day, hit Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, hop over to Epcot, ride Test Track, jump on the bus, go do Tower of Terror. In olden times, we like to call that olden times, you could have that all done before noon, and then you can go relax at your resort at the pool. You could go down to Disney Springs and have lunch. Now it kind of stacks your day against you because you have to wait to do it. So as painful as it is, I would say if you're looking to save money, skip the park hopper for now. When we get into the harder summer, when the parks, like you said, are open till 11, 12 o'clock at night, then it becomes more feasible to do it, because then you can still go back to your hotel. I mean, if the park's open till 11 or 12, you could go to, say, Hollywood Studios until 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, go back to your hotel, take a nap, take a swim, go back to Magic Kingdom at 5, 6 p.m. and you still got 5 or 6 hours of fun. So we're kind of limited by park hours right now. They're starting to extend it because it's so crowded here. But until you are sure that you could get your max out of that park hopper, just skip it.
And, like we're talking about ways to save money. Some of these things aren't going to be fan favorite ways to save money, right? We're all trying to find about, like, hey, if you need to cut $300, $400, $600, $800 off of your trip, here are some things that may help you get there, but we're going to have to cut some things that we love. Like this one. Like skipping a park day altogether. So that's number 3. And I personally think these are fun. I like to go to Disney like a crazy person, so I'm kind of rapid fire. I'll fly in for like 4 days, go to a park all 4 days and go home, because I'm trying to maximize as much as I can so I can go multiple times a year, and so I can always also experience as much as I can while I'm there, because I'm just a park nerd. I just want to be there. And so, but I will say this, planning a Walt Disney World resort is a massive chunk of land. I mean, I know that if you're listening to the show, you already know that, but there are so many killer things to do on property that I know people that have gone on vacation to Disney World and never stepped foot in a park.
Plan for the magic.
Yes. Their name is not Audrey. So let's give a couple of examples, right? We'll give a fun one. If you're an adult, you can sleep in and go with your convoy of friends or your significant other and do the monorail crawl, which is basically like a bar crawl, and you go to all of the monorail resorts and enjoy some fun adult beverages. Or
I thought we were talking about saving money.
Oh, well, it's cheaper than a park day, maybe. But what you're doing is we'll make it family friendly. Go and enjoy a monorail hotel day. And so you got 3 hotels you can go and enjoy. You can go and see them. And this is especially worthwhile around major holidays. Like, especially Christmas, the hotels kind of go a little extra with their decorations. And so it's cool to see how they look during the holidays, because they're dressed different. And so you've got that. So resort hopping is definitely super fun. You can pick resorts where you can go ride like the Skyliner. So that's a fun thing to do. What are a couple of other ones, Brandon?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, the thing you got to think about when we say skip a park day, I mean, in your head, people are like, well, I paid to come to Walt Disney World and experience the parks. But don't forget that you also paid thousands of dollars to stay at the resort. So skipping the park for a day where you guys hang out at the pool, if you stay at a moderate or deluxe resort, the pools have water slides and waterfalls and, not swim up pool bars, but pool bars. And like, there's plenty of stuff to enjoy at the resorts that you already paid for, and that's why we talk about all the time when we go to Disney, we don't spend a whole bunch of money on the place that we stay, because we're never there.
Right.
We never go into we never hang at the resort. When we went for the 50th, it was a little bit different. We came back, took a break, hung out in the pool, because we paid for that resort. So you're not losing anything. Don't think of it as, man, I'm losing a park day. Like I'm losing part of my vacation if I don't go to the park. Think about it as I'm gaining the experience at my resort. There's so much stuff to do. You can hop from resort to resort. You can do that monorail crawl, like you said, and just look at the resorts around Magic Kingdom. And I mean, just experience that stuff because you're already paid for it. You're not going to save money by not doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And some of the things that I thought about and that we listed, like you guys have done this. I haven't, but there's like a really cool putt-putt course, like on Disney property. And then of course you've got Disney Springs. I mean, that can be a day, but I would point people to the more relaxing thing, like, hang out at your resort, go visit a resort, go do the Skyway. I would pick things because Disney Springs, again, another massive Mecca shopping area with other things to do. So yeah, you'll probably spend a little money while you're there, but again, not the same if let's take our average family of 4. It's not going to be 4 people times $130 on average per person per ticket for a park day, right? So, it's not going to be $500 on your day off. And you can still do some stuff, fun stuff, and see some things like, Disney Springs is massive, and those putt-putt courses are really, really nice. Aren't they like real grass?
Super fun, and they're super affordable.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're $14 a person, but I mean, if you can get your family out there, so you've spent a Genie Plus worth of fun.
Yeah.
If we can go back to there, and you had a great time for an hour or two with your family, and it only takes an hour or two, and then you can go back to your resort.
Yep.
So, and you don't feel like you have to stay in the park and keep walking and keep pounding the pavement. So, and then you're not spending money on frivolous things.
Yeah.
Which kind of brings us to our next point, right?
It does,
Spending money on frivolous things. If you listened to our show last week, we kind of hit on this a little bit. But if you're looking to spend money, just say no to souvenirs at Walt Disney World. And you said this, and you put it in the notes, and I really liked it. Create moments, not clutter, right?
Yeah.
We all know, like, you're in the heat of the moment. You're like, that thing is super awesome. I want to buy it. Then you bring it home. It sits, collects dust, like most of our stuff does, right? So I love the way you said that. Create moments, not clutter.
Yeah. I don't necessarily practice
episode.
that, but
no, me either. Don't listen. Don't do as we do.
Yes,
do as we say.
That's it.
Because we do not practice that at all.
No. But it is like, I mean, again, we kind of dive deep into that, especially with little ones. Find stuff on Amazon, find stuff at your local big box store, and pack it and bring it with you because they're going to be way more expensive. And you can just be like, oh, look, we got this for you. Mickey brought it to our hotel room. Yeah. Like there's way
everything
fun.
Is magic.
Yes, everything there.
Everything is magic for kids at Disney. It doesn't matter where it comes from. I remember one of the first times we went with you guys in Micaiah, like we would have, like when she went to take a bath or something at night, like we would sneak into your room and like decorate it and put things on the bed and pretend like Tinkerbell or Mickey came in and left presents. And she was just as happy as if we bought her a $200 bubble wand at the park.
Exactly. She always called it, like, whenever we would go the next few times and we would stay off property because Dad is cheap, she would like, is this one of the magic rooms? And I'll always have to be like, I don't know. We'll have to see. Gulp.
We'll have to see.
Ruin.
Maybe the last night will be magic.
Yeah. But there's some create memories. I mean, that's what's great. Like, I mean, certainly if you want to buy something at Disney World, and you don't have an annual pass, buy the memory maker, the photo pass for your week. That's I don't know, what is it now? $200, $160,
something
whatever
like
it is.
that.
That's worth it because you get somebody who'll take you a picture, give you all of these magic shots, and those are memories you take home and live forever. I always talk about this, but I have my Amazon Her Name sitting right over there that just, all it does is loop all of our Disney vacation photos. That's all it shows. And the weather, which right now it's 36. Jeez, that's cold. But yeah,
It's 65 here.
Shut your face. Hey, I'll 48 hours. 48 hours. So yeah, just say no to some souvenirs.
Yeah.
I think they're again. I know that stinks. Buy your one, but don't buy like Dave and Brandon do. All the shirts.
Yeah. You don't need it all, I promise.
No, you don't. All right, number 5, right? Number 5? Yeah.
Number 5.
So this is what we were talking about earlier. Brandon mentioned the fact that there is no slow time at Disney anymore, and which he's right, because there were some, I can tell you all this now because it doesn't work anymore, but I was very strategic at the times of the year that I landed at Disney World, arrived at Disney World.
Yeah.
When our daughter was really little, we would always go right after Labor Day because the whole country's back in school by then, and it was real that especially that whole like Labor Day Monday, we would get there like Wednesday and then stay through like Monday, and it was just dead. That's gone. Another one is just after the Christmas holidays, so like that first and second week of January. It's still okay-ish. This year, that was not the case, and it has not slowed down since.
No.
But I will say one of the things that still rings true about those times and a few others is pick the time of the year that you come because it costs less. So now Disney has adapted over the last couple years. What's the correct terminology, Brandon? Like moving prices? I don't. Depending on the time of the year, they charge differently to come to the parks. There's no more like, hey, it's $99 a day, no matter 365 days a year. That doesn't exist anymore. And so obviously your more popular times when more people want to come or they're available to come to Disney World, they'll charge more. They're trying to scare some people away to keep crowds down. Clearly that's not working. And two, they just know that people are on summer vacation. And so they're going to head to Disney World. But one of the things that you can still do is look at that calendar. So when you go to book your calendar, if you have the flexibility, or if you're like a year out and you say, I want to go to Disney World for our vacation next year, when should we go? Like you can actually punch in the dates, and I would encourage you like punch in July 4th dates, punch in Christmas dates, and then punch in other dates, and you're going to see there's quite the difference in ticket pricing, and hotel stays. So I would say if you have the flexibility, be open to picking certain times of the year to go that wouldn't necessarily be when everyone else can go. Now I know that may involve if you have children pulling kids out of school, and so that's something we've always said. If you guys keep making good grades, I won't have a problem pulling you out of school for a few days.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the reason now that there's become less of a slow season. One is that there's so many homeschooled people that it doesn't really matter about taking out of school. And then two, obviously the pandemic, now you can do school anywhere, right? So parents can say, hey, we're going to go to Disney. We'll have fun during the day, but you need to come home and do an hour of homework when we go to the, before you go to bed. So I think that's a part of it. And then two, I mean, my advice would be if you can suck it up and it's going to be awful and it's going to be terrible, come in the summertime. The summertime is super hot, but it's also going to be your slowest time in the park. So if you can handle the heat, come in the summertime. There's going to be deals on hotels. The park prices are going to be lower. It's just going to be a better time to come because when it's cool, you got New Year's, you got spring break, you got cheerleading competitions and marathons. That's all going to happen when it's cool in the beginning of the year in the spring. And then when you get into the fall, you're looking at Halloween parties and Christmas parties and
the wine and dine.
So really the sweet spot is when it's hot.
Yeah, it's true. That used to not be the case.
But that's what I would have to recommend now.
So number 5, pick the right year to go. Pick the right time. Pick the right time.
I'm going to go in 2027. That seems like the right year.
All right, Brandon. All right, let's talk about our favorite subject. Go for it.
Oh, yes. So the next one, and it's, I want to say this like Spike Lee because it's do the right thing.
I know.
It's eat the right thing, right? When you go to Disney World, make sure you eat the right thing. Now, We're not telling you have to come to Disney World and not enjoy the snacks and the treats
right.
and just be healthy all the time
False.
and not buy the Mickey bar, all that good stuff. What we are saying is just think about the cost. There's so many things you can do at Disney to lower your costs so you can still enjoy those other things.
Right.
You know, kind of things like, you know, now that there's not a meal plan, snacks are not an included thing, right? When we had a meal plan, a snack was part of what you already paid for. So you felt like you had to stuff yourself with a Mickey bar every afternoon at 3:00 because I paid for it. Dang it, I'm going to eat it.
That's right.
But now that they're gone, you got to pay for snacks. So think about skipping snacks in the park or bringing your own snacks.
Yes.
Go off property. Don't eat everything at Disney. I promise you, the food is good off property if you can get off property. So think about that too. And then a big one, and we did this a couple times when we were there. Think about ordering a week's worth of groceries or your vacations link worth of groceries, order it to the hotel, and then that way you have water in your room, you have peanut butter and jelly, you have crackers and chips, like all this stuff you can bring to the park saves you money in the long run because your whole grocery order costs the same as what one sit down meal at Disney would cost.
Definitely. Yeah. And there's a couple of those services like in the Orlando area, and they deliver, whether like they'll deliver to any hotel, and of course they deliver to like on Disney property. And so it's and it also helps, especially there's a lot of timeshares in it's surrounding Disney that kind of timeshare, like they've built these big sprawling properties and people don't really have timeshares anymore. So just about anybody can get them, and they're great because they have full dining rooms and full kitchens. So you can literally have a kitchen like you have at home, and you can most likely, if you're like on hotels.com or Expedia or Travelocity, all of those timeshares now are on there. Like we have booked, there's at least 2 that I've stayed at, like when I started my off property staying, jaunts when I was coming a lot for the Run Disney races or just bringing one kid. I had 2 kids at that point. But yeah, there's so, and you live there, so you don't have to go down a list, but you can attest to, like not everybody that comes to Orlando goes to Disney. So there's tons of stuff to do around there. And a lot of the stuff to do around there doesn't have built-in restaurants. And so Orlando is a smorgasbord of great food and great choices. Yeah.
There's food everywhere. I mean, you can get pretty much any kind of food you want within a 10-minute drive of Disney, or hop in an Uber or a Lyft. They will take you to a restaurant that'll cost you maybe half the price of what you could eat at Disney. I mean, food in Orlando is still higher than what it would be in Virginia or Minnesota or wherever you guys are, because it is still a tourist town, but it's going to be way cheaper than on property. So easy way to save. Let's, just say, hey, the 4 of us are going to go find a sweet restaurant. Let's look it up on Yelp and see what a cool restaurant is 10 minutes from property, and just jump in a Lyft or an Uber and go eat, and you'll have an awesome time. You'll save a bunch of money, and it'll be delicious.
Or grocery service. You can't beat it.
Or grocery.
Okay. Last but certainly not least.
Certainly not.
This is, I'm going to go slow through this because the whole point of this is saving money. So I don't want to trick people or confuse people, what I'm saying. But use gift cards and credit cards. So yes, we'll talk about the credit card thing in a minute. But the biggest ones that out there that I think most people know about is you've got Target. So if you have the red card, they're always 5% off. Well, if you're going on a $2,000 to $5,000 Disney vacation, you're not going to save 5% from Disney. Sorry. No. And so you can use those gift cards anywhere on anything at Disney property. I repeat, you can use them anywhere and on anything at Disney property, on Disney property. So those, and then of course Sam's Club has them as well. They're not always a 5% discount, but they're cheaper. And obviously the higher number of cards you buy, like, so if you're going and buy $100 cards, like they're probably going to be like $94.99, right? So you're going to save, like, I know that doesn't feel like, remember, you don't pay tax on them, right? And then two, like $95 is not $100. I mean, I'm not that good at math, but I do know that. Okay. So now I do want to talk about, the credit card thing. I literally wrote this in all caps. Do not rack up debt. That literally defeats the purpose of saving money. So that's
it feels like I'm listening to Dave Ramsey preach here.
Yes. So what I mean by that is there are tons of like Visa has a great deal with Disney that every time you spend a certain amount of money, like you get Disney rewards, and that rewards can be sent to you on a little gift card that can be used at Disney.
Yep.
So Brandon and I know we both have that card. And so,
Correct.
But here's what I want you to do. Don't get a credit card. And another thing that does is if you pay for your vacation on that credit card, you get 6 months interest free to pay off that. I'm not encouraging you to do that. I'm just saying that
Don't do
another
that unless
benefit.
you have the discipline to pay for it. Yes.
Put it on there and then pay it off at the end of the month. That's what we're telling you to do. But what we are telling you to do is find these credit cards that have great rewards. There's more. Doesn't have to just be for Disney. Just the ones that have great rewards. And put the stuff on that you're normally budgeting for every month. The keywords there were budgeting and every month, okay? and stuff that you like gas, groceries, dry cleaning. Okay, so I'm thinking stuff that people do every month that you're already paying for and not putting on a credit card to gain up debt, that you would just put on the card now and pay it off at the end of the month. You're still going to get those rewards. So that's what we're saying by utilize your gift card options and your credit card rewards. And so, but again, please don't go into debt to go to Disney. Then you're not saving money.
No,
you're not.
You're definitely not. You're definitely not.
Yeah.
And we love, you mentioned at the beginning of this, buying the gift cards at Target. I mean, we always save up to be able to pay for our Disney vacations in cash. So, if you go book a week on property, then back in the day, you paid for the meal plan. You budgeted for parking and souvenirs and food. That's a couple $1,000s. So, I mean, if you are buying Disney gift cards at 5% off a couple thousand, I mean, that is hundreds of dollars. If you 5% of 5,000 is a pretty good amount. That's $250, right? And most people, if you're coming with a family of 4 and you're staying at a moderate or you're staying at a deluxe resort, you're paying way more than $5,000 for your trip. So if you've already got that paid off, take advantage of that stuff. I mean, you could save hundreds of dollars. So we love doing that. When we used to come here on vacation, we'd save up all year, go over to Target and buy like 35 gift cards and then put them all on one card, but you save a ton of money. So that's a great thing. We got the credit card for the wrong reason at the beginning, just because we wanted 6 months to pay off our
correct.
And then, we weren't quite disciplined enough to take care of it. So that's a good warning. There's a reason that was in all caps. Don't go into debt for it.
No.
It's Disney. Don't ruin the rest of your financial future because you're going to Disney.
Don't ruin your next year or 3 years or 5 years to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are our 7 of our money saving tips to go to Disney. Now, this is going to be, okay, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. This is going to be kind of the first of a 2-part series, kind of, if you will. And we wanted to start off with kind of the positive. And so next week, what we're going to talk about in a kind of continuation on this is, since 2022, and it is only mid-February, why we wanted to talk about this is prices have gone up, not just at Disney, everywhere, but prices have gone up at Disney a lot. And so we're going to talk about a handful of already big price increases that have already happened at Disney. And you can bet that more are to come, and more, and they'll start getting more every year. I mean, they were already going up, but I remember, I'll just give you an example. I remember like when you got a soda, because it's not like a combo meal like that we're all used to, that the drink and the side is included. Oh, no.
Yeah.
The combo meal includes all of your food, and then you can buy a drink. So
Correct.
I remember I was like, golly, man, these drinks are $3 a piece. I'll never forget that, thinking that. And this is, I don't know, a handful of years ago. Now I think, what are they now? Like a Coke is $4.19, $4.79.
$4.19. I think with tax, I think it's like $4.89, almost $5.
Yeah. And that's for like Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite. Like it's not like in a bottle. It's like when you go to the restaurant and you get a drink with your meal, it's almost $5.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, family of 4, that's $25 for drinks.
Yes. So pro tip, if you're going to do that, go to a place that has the machine where you can refill it up at the quick service or
Correct.
it's all you can drink. Don't go and just grab. I think of avoid Cosmic Rays. Cosmic Rays does not have a drink refill machine.
No.
Yeah. So we're going to talk. So we figured we'd talk about hey, here's a way you can save some money and get to Disney World and enjoy your vacation. But next week, we're going to tell you why we did the money saving is because, holy cow, here's some of the things that have changed. And so
exactly. Save your money so you can spend it on these things.
Yes. Save your money because you're going to need it. All right, man. Hey, dude.
All right.
2 days. 2 days.
2 days.
We can man hug it out.
Let's do it.
Can't wait. Okay, people.
Can't wait. All right, people.
We will see you soon next week for our depressing. Here's how much everything costs now. Yay.
We're going to invite you to grab your favorite beverage next week when you listen to this, because we'll have our favorite beverage while we're talking about it. Grab your favorite beverage and join us next Friday.
Yes.
When we talk about the ways Disney steals your money.
All of it. All right, friends. Until next time.
Peeps.
Bicycle.
Bicycle.